Oi, gente, tudo bem? Aqui é o cara da cultura, Lucas Leite de novo. I'm here with Pierre.
San Martín,
Uhum. Castelhano.
Castellanos.
Ele dirigiu o filme da mostra Não Nos Moverão. In English,
We shall not be moved.
We Should Not Be Moved. In Spanish, Não Nos Moverão.
Hey, hey.
E eu tô aqui para falar com ele, discutir um pouco sobre esse filme, falar sobre a mostra, o que ele tá achando, falar sobre todo o contexto político também do filme e basicamente isso. So, yeah, for the first question, I would like you to ask to you. That's probably, I saw your other movies. That's probably the most ascending one in the way that more people are watching it. Yeah, no nos moverão. So I would like to ask you, what do you think of directing more and more? You have plans to direct more films. What do you think about the idea of directing to comedies or other type of genres? So what are your plans for the future?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for the time. I'm very happy. Thank you and hello to everyone. Oya. Well, I'm really excited to be here in La Mostra. For me, it's like a dream come true to be here. I always, when I was a student, a filmmaker student, I was very into to come to La Mostra. There's a real big one festival, and also to Brazil because I always like the culture of Brazil, the Brazilian films. So in that sense, I'm really happy to be here, and I'm quite, I used to do different films before this one. I used to do film more like drama films, more like things about relationships, like romantic relationships between woman and man, and those things were switching a little bit more when I was thinking about going really into the characters, like trying to find yeah, because in film we always wait until the airplane just went off. This is a special film for me because it's a different genre and different tone and different approach to the narrative. So I'm quite happy to find this new path that is about the humor and the comedy, and also a little bit, like the thriller. That is really a subgenre that I really love. I was really into that when I was young. So in many ways, this is the film where I could find different genres to walk the narrative, because for me the narrative is always about humanity and how difficult it is to find each other, the communication. That's a little bit more, just more or less what are my films all are about it, and how we can relate it with each other and how difficult is that. But now the perspective for me is that the humor brings something different to the table, because it's a different way to do the talking. I from time to time, as you can see right now, I can be a little bit serious, about what I'm saying, but like really, because I don't have right away, we're strangers a little bit, So, but if you know me a little bit better, I just to trying to find the ways to talk or to see the things in a humorous way. You know, quite ironic because I see the world in that sense.
I got from the film a cynical point of view.
Right.
And I thought it was very curious. It had completely gotten me all the way. It kind of gave me emotional background from the perspective of the main character, and I really got into the movie because of the humor.
Right. Right. So that's is the humor, you know, is different for everyone. I mean, nobody laughs about the same things. So, and mostly the people cry about the same thing. So, humor that's the reason that is very likable, but very hard to find a right path to do it. You have to understand what you're going to do, what kind of jokes, so to speak, or what kind of angle to talk about something. Because I believe that the things on life are really, you know, sad, but also are very funny. Because we were talking about very seriously about the film and the genre. And you just come the airplane, and you know someone could just drop, you know, the camera, because that's life happening. Because the life, it doesn't fit exactly as we want to happen. So I think in that sense, I'm very happy to have found the humor and the comicity on the tragedy. Because I really think it's a better way to speak about it. And the next project that I got, the one is a thriller, and the other one is probably a horror film. And I'm very aware that I want to find the humor there. You know, like I'm really into find a horror humor film that is very strange. Just it sounds like something that shouldn't be together, but I'm looking for to understand that how can find the humor on the fear, right? So because I think the fear is a quite interesting emotion, and I really would like to speak about it, but I want to find something different, you know. That there's some guys that have done that. This guy from, you know, the English one. Do you recall that? Shaun of the Dead, you know? Do you recall the name of the director?
The name of the director is Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright, right. So he's a little bit like that, you know. So I really like that because he did something that is like a little bit this, a little bit that. But the mixture is very good. It's a really good blend, a hard blend to do it. So I think that there's, of course, there's this is my idea. It's not the original one, but I think there's something inherent on my point of view, on my way to watch things, to angle things, to belongs there. So I have plans to keep doing this as much as I feel the energy to do it.
One interesting aspect of your film that I find it very peculiar was the main character, the old lady, was deaf. And you start the movie with that scene that she's completely deaf, right? And she tries to pick her, I don't know how to say the
instrument, right?
Yeah,
yes.
The instrument of hearing.
Yes.
And I would like to ask you, why did you start with that scene in specific? Because you could start from the beginning, the revenge thing, yeah, because the movie is about revenge and not seeking it, but you started with the death thing, and I wanted to know why would you start with that?
Right. Well, man, that's a really good question. No one has ever asked me that before. But, well, for me, it's the thing here is that this is a. I wanted to introduce the subjectivity of the character, someone who can hear, but cannot hear not just because of the physical one, but because of the emotional too. So for me, this is a tale about a woman that is so into her, inside of her, that it's very difficult to her to open. So that's why it all begins with like a recall of the '68, and she was asleep and deaf because she's someone is close to the world. So for me, it was really important to do this introduction because and also the fight against the sisters because she wants to communicate something and the other one shouldn't talk and the other can hear. So I like those things to put it on the scheme because those things mean something for everyone. That there's a problem of communication. I don't want to hear you want to talk, so that's a big problem too. And that's the tale that two sisters that cannot be together or are together, but they don't stand together until they understand how to live together in the same thing with the same pain. And for me, that's melted my heart. So
And another thing about your movie is that you open and you finish it all black and white. Yeah, it's a black and white film, and it's very singular in a kind of way. You picture the dictatorship and all those horrible things in a very I mean, it's like all your movie is corrupted by something.
Yes,
In a way that all the characters, even the good ones, like the old lady,
yeah,
are corrupted.
yes.
And I would like to ask you, is there a personal experience to that, in your point of view, to direct the movie in that way, in that scenic way that I already said? Was there a personal experience of the events that really happened, or it was just you thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I recall that I read a book that says that the only reason that in Mexico this was a really important writer in Mexico that just passed away a few years ago. That it's called Carlos Montemayor. Montemayor wrote many things about the social political things on Mexico, and he says, I recall that it was something about the only reason that because of there's no internal revolution or a civil war in Mexico is because of the corruption, because of the piracy, because of the drugs, the narc drugs, right? Because those things makes people get ways to survive in a country that is made to kill all the people that doesn't have enough money to buy those things. You know what I mean? Like buy the justice, goods. So I believe that we are into all Latin Americans. We are on this stage that we need the corruption to try to find justice, and this is a paradox, of course. And I'm not saying because some people say like, "What do you mean that we should be corrupt?" I said no, man. But I mean, try to don't do that. I mean, like really try. You cannot because this is not just Latin Americans, but all people trying to find the shortcut to do things the way you want to do. And the corruption is in that way because the paths that are drawing down, the plans that are drawing down in the world and in the legal justice, they're not made for us, for you and me, for people that have less money, less possibilities. Those rules were not meant to help them, or you or me. Those rules and laws are made for people that have more money, they can steal without have any punishment at all, or even they got prizes or whatever, be presidents or whatever. So that's the law that we were living for. So if we stick to that plan, it's almost impossible. We you know what I mean? So we need to have these exits or different paths, subversive ones, to find that thing. And my mom, she's now enough old that she won't have problems, I expect. But she has done a lot of this justice, working with the corruption, to try to people that doesn't have people that low incomes get access to the justice. So they sometimes it's important to do this corruption. So it's a really long conversation. It's one that we're having, and I'm not trying to say this should be this way, whatever. But I want to try to know what I know from someone who has to do laws her whole life, like my mother. So that's my point of view. In any case, that we all impregnate with the corruption, and I don't think that's a good thing to do, but I think it's a surviving thing to do. Not always. Some corruption are really bad, whatever. And those things are, like it's a very high profile subject to talk about. But I think that to close this thing, I want to say that is something that we have to think about it, how we can find different ways to the law belongs to us, so we don't need the corruption to be don't have to do those things to survive. That's a bit more right.
Well, going to an easier question.
Yeah, but a really good question what you said. Just that's a little.
What is your experience with the mostra? What are the things that you've done? What are you thinking of it?
Well, I just have 4 days here, so it's too little, the time that I've been here. But I just feel very familiar with the people from Brazil. The city. I just have a walk on the Pinacoteca, beautiful place. I have to see like 3 screenings, but I have met a lot of journalists, as you, and I just feel that I'm talking with Mexicans in some way. I cannot explain it, but it feels very comfortable to be here. I just feel ashamed that I cannot speak any Portuguese at all. So I can just say like bom dia, muito bene, muito bom. She's my teacher. Muito obrigado. So there's a few words that I can say, and sometimes I'm trying really hard to pay attention and trying to understand, but it's hard. But I'm learning. I'm doing the Duolingo stuff and those things, but it feels like home. It feels like we got so much things in common. So it's very hard to. I'm saying it's just something just from the heart. I'm not knowing too much probably, but I just feel like I could live here because I'd really love to live in Mexico City. I couldn't be in some other place, probably Buenos Aires, probably. But here it just feels like, I think I could prefer to live here actually. I don't know, feel like home. Feel like so. And I love to be in a competence that are 130 films, all magnificent. So I just feel proud and I'm happy to be here. The conversation, like really, it's just good, and people is getting, you know, like the Brazilian people are getting into the film. They like the film, so I just feel like sorry to say something Catholic, but I just feel blessed to be here, to be talking, to have this experience. So I'm very happy.
Oh, well, and the last question is a very bland one, but question that is very important to your work. I want to know if you could say something to the people that do not go to Mostra, the Brazilian ones that are not participating in this event. What would you say to expand their film knowledge and watch your movie? What would you say to someone that doesn't know your film and wants to?
Okay, well, I will say to them that I would like to, I would like really to share the film that they could have to looking for a moment to watch the film, because it's streaming, right? This is still streaming the film, so I'm very happy about that. La Mostra asked me to do that if I want to do it, and I said totally yes, because I know some people cannot come to Sao Paulo, some probably because Brazil is a really huge country, and also because because some people work a lot, so they cannot come here. So for many reasons, I was just expecting to have this streaming, and I would like to the people know that this is a film that is about humanity and family to Latin American. So I did a film for us, you know, so we can understand each other better, and I think they can find things that could link it to them. I made the films for people to like to watch films. I don't feel like I did, or we did, or you know, all the crew, the cast. We didn't aim to do an art house thing. We want the people watch the films, comes to the movies to have something back, you know, like an experience and something emotional that hopefully they can think about something for themselves, you know, something for their own lives. Hopefully they could reflect themselves on the screen. That's even if it's a laptop or a television or a phone. I mean, any place is good to watch the film. So I just expect, because we made with a lot of love, and I hope they can find that love if they want to share with us a couple hours. I'm just expecting. I really invite you guys.
Well, thanks. This was our interview. I expect that that you enjoy it, and I really am glad that I get to know you, because I really enjoyed your film. I think it was one of the particular ones of the Mostra that made me on the edge of the seat, made me almost jump in the cinema, because it doesn't just have action or humor. It's a kind of mix of those things that really gets us kind of emotional closure to the character and to the story, and I really like that. I really like being sentimental about the movie.
Muito obrigado. Yes, and of course, invite the people to vote for the film. If they have your same heart that your same link, please vote for the film, because it's very important for us what's happening here in La Mostra, because we want to try to do a sale to a platform we can show the film, you know, to a bigger audience. So that will be just for us a dream come true. So that's very important. So thank you really quite much. Muito obrigado por la entrevista. Thank you so much.
Thank you. E essa foi a entrevista, gente. Muito obrigado. E para mais conteúdos, mais entrevistas, mais coisas do tipo, siga aí o Cara da Cultura.